The Etruscans did a number of things to transfer the crude collection of farmers' huts that was Rome into a true city. Rome came under the control of these foreign princes, and the city was greatly improved. Its institutions were changed in many respects. These new kings, instead of being Romans or Sabines, were Etruscans, who gave the Romans something of the character of an Etruscan city. Etruscans were more culturally advanced than the Latins. They made many contributions to Roman civilization. In the area of architecture, the Etruscans taught the Latins how to use the arch in building bridges. From the visual, you can see there are three main elements of an arch: the springers or piers, the voussoirs or wedge-shaped stones, and the keystone. The massive and durable style of architecture, especially as seen in the walls and the sewers constructed at this time, shows that the Etruscans were great and experienced builders. Etruscans also laid the foundation of Rome's first sewer system. The most important of these was the famous Cloaca Maxima, or Great Drain, which ran under the Forum and emptied into the Tiber. It was said to be large enough to admit a hay cart, and one could sail down it in a boat. It was strongly built of stone, in the form of a semicircular arch, such as the Etruscans had used, and its mouth is still visible on the shore of the Tiber River. The Etruscans drained the swamp at the foot of the Palatine. This later became the place where Rome's Forum, or the public square, was built. The Forum housed a palace, government buildings, and a law court. The Etruscans also made a contribution in the area of language as well. They borrowed the Greek alphabet and made some changes in it. The Romans in turn borrowed the Etruscan alphabet. The Romans also borrowed some Etruscan customs. One was the fights of enslaved people held at Etruscan funerals. These were models for gladiatorial games, with which the Romans amused themselves. These games were fights between armed men, between men and animals, between women and dwarfs, and between animals. Another custom borrowed from the Etruscans was the triumph, or the parade-like welcome given to a returning Roman hero coming back from battle. In addition, the Romans borrowed the Etruscan symbols of authority. From the Etruscans came the royal insignia, that is, the symbols of power, which were intended to make the king more dignified and respected. These insignia consisted of a golden crown, an ivory scepter, an ivory chair, a white robe with a purple border, and bundles of rods enclosed in an axe called the fasces. This last symbol was the sign of the absolute power of the king. It became the symbol of a Roman ruler's power to beat or execute other people. The Etruscans also introduced the Romans to certain religious beliefs. These included gods with human forms and soothsayers who interpreted the wills of the gods. These persons were supposed to ascertain divine will by observing lightning and other phenomena of nature, such as the flights of birds, and also by examining the internal organs of animals offered in sacrifice, and even by watching the sacred chickens as they ate their food. The Etruscans built the first temple on the Capitoline, one of the 7 hills of Rome. Today is the center of Rome's municipal or city government. The Romans founded their cities according to a ritual borrowed from the Etruscans. Soothsayers read omens that told where the city's boundaries should be. a ditch was dug to mark the boundaries. The plow used to dig the ditch had a bronze blade and was pulled by a white bull and cow yoked together. Workers then dug a trench at the center of the city. After each of the city's founders had tossed a handful of earth into the trench, the priests took over. They laid out the main street and determined the principal cross street, as seen in the visual on the right. The place where the two streets met was marked by a stone. The Etruscans believed that the stone covered a shaft leading to the underworld. 3 times a year, an Etruscan priest lifted the stone to allow the souls of the dead to return to earth. The Romans believed the place where the two streets met was the mundus, or the meeting place, for the worlds of the living and the dead. The Etruscans were not the first to develop many of the ideas and practices that the Romans borrowed. The Etruscans were, however, the people who brought these ideas to the notice of the Romans. Thus, they played an important role in the development of Roman civilization.